everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Will. This is Fandom Frequency, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. This is where we get into the entire multiverse of pop culture, as I like to say. Anime, horror, comic book movies, anything and everywhere in between. We get into it here. So click all the buttons below the video. We appreciate all your support, and it really helps the channel grow. We're almost at 300 subs right now, and we're trying to get to that 500 by the end of the summer. So help us out by doing that. Click the buttons and everything like that. And thank you for joining us once again. And also check out the podcast feed. We got a lot of this pieces of content over there. This one's exclusive to YouTube, though. So let your homies know, let your fam know, let the fellow fans know that this is the only place you're going to get this exclusive. And as you can tell, this isn't Skippy. This is a very special guest here. This is Steph, and I actually met her recently at Monsterpalooza down in Pasadena, California. This is like my fifth or sixth time going. Had you went before?
Yes, actually was there last year as well.
Okay, cool. Nice. I was wondering we didn't actually run into each other then, but it was meant to happen now. And she's also a part of her own channel called The Final GIRLZ, where, you know, they do reactions and such. But let her get into what she's up to and let her break that down for us. So let the people know about The Final GIRLZ a little bit.
All right, thank you. Well, The Final GIRLZ, it was basically, we're a group of girls that didn't grow up watching horror movies.
Right.
Because most of us grew up in extremely religious households or, preacher's kid here.
I was a Christian school kid, so my parents were a little more lenient, but I definitely didn't have horror in my life super early on, intensely, so I kind of had to sneak it in there.
And I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a bit of a chicken shit myself. So, so we're a group of girls that didn't grow up watching horror movies, or we're just scared of horror movies.
Okay.
Reacting to horror movies.
Okay.
And
cool.
so we're watching like a lot of the classics and even new stuff too.
I think you guys did like Scream 5 and everything.
We actually did a whole Scream marathon, and we've actually just put 6 out a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check that out, guys.
Yeah. And it's Final GIRLZ with a Z.
Yes. No S on that one. So FINALGIRLZ, right?
Yes.
Got you. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to them over there. I'm going to drop the link on the actual description. I'm going to have something on the actual video here on the screen that you guys can see, so you guys can go follow them over there. And I actually watched your reaction to this very movie that we're getting into today, The Cabin in the Woods, and it was very funny with the whole intro with the wolf and everything like that. I won't say any more. That's, if you know the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So go check that out for sure. But so the whole religious aspect to it. So you essentially just started watching horror movies maybe like a handful of years ago or something like that?
Actually, like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically this October will be 2 years since we've been on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And so basically with our producer, I had worked on, because I'm also a makeup artist. So I had done makeup and did a little bit of acting on another project that he ended up being a cinematographer on. Oh. And so, we exchanged information and things like that for, networking and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And a couple months later, I get a call from him being like, "Hey, Stephanie, do you watch horror movies?" I was like, "No, they scare me." And he's like, "Oh, you're perfect." Okay. So it was kind of cool because...
So it was kind of his brainchild in a way.
Yeah. And so there's 6 of us, and it's typically 3 to 4 of us watching them at a time. Okay. So that we're all very different, and none of us knew each other actually prior to
I didn't realize
filming.
that.
Yeah, but I mean, we formed a bond pretty much immediately, and these girls are like my sisters now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really cool. So I have my own little horror family now.
Nice. So who would you say has the highest tolerance for scares out of all of you?
Ooh, that's tough.
Like who's the toughest of the Final GIRLZ?
That's really tough because it depends, I think, more on
Subgenre.
the subject. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like some of us are a little more triggered by the blood and gore. Some of us are a little more triggered by the paranormal. Some of us are a little more, So we each have our own little thing.
Got you. So it all kind of varies on subject to subject. Okay. Got you. Nice. So I know that you mentioned that you were an actress as well, but you do a lot of modeling more frequently now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I did notice that on your IG.
Yes.
That's
yes.
cool. So what made you get into the modeling as opposed to doing more acting?
I've actually been modeling off and on since I was a teenager. So it's just kind of
Oh,
one of those things that,
that was kind of the first of all these kind of creative
yeah.
endeavors.
And then as I got doing more of the makeup, I started like, my photographers would be like, can you stand in for this test shot real quick so I can check my lighting and stuff like that? And then
Okay.
they're like, okay, she's good in front of the camera. Let's actually shoot her.
Okay, yeah, let's
So,
give her a speaking role. Let's give
yeah.
her some feature work or whatever,
So,
or some extra work, I should say.
yeah, and so it just got to the point where I was pretty much like modeling pretty much every weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And whatnot.
Got
So,
you. That's
yeah.
cool. Doing like fashion weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out my modeling page as well. It's so funny, man. I always grew up hating the camera, so
You're
it's so
gonna
ironic.
do a
I'm here
dude
now.
war shoot, huh?
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see for sure. Okay. Let me see. Where was I going to go next? Well, I guess we can go ahead and transition into The Cabin in the Woods, directed by one of the most underrated directors, I feel like, in genre filmmaking today, Drew Goddard. Very awesome filmmaker. Written by Joss Whedon. And, even though there's a little controversy around his name these days, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Avengers, his list goes on and on. So those guys were on a hot streak when that one actually dropped. And did you hear about this back in the day when it first came out?
No, because I.
Okay, so you were completely out of the loop still back in 2012.
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
completely like, if it was horror, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Got you. You might have saw a commercial, you're like, oh, scary stuff, never mind.
Oh yeah, I
Turn
mean,
the channel.
I literally, yeah, even there were commercials at that time that would bug me. I'm
Wow.
like, you know what? I don't want to see this.
I feel you. Hey, those Evil Dead Rise trailers, you know what I mean? So, yeah, even the TV spots, I was like, oh, cheese grater. Oh, don't do that. So, I totally get it. But I remember actually seeing this on cable, I think. Someone got it on like VOD or something.
Okay.
And I was at like not like a sleepover, but it was like a bunch of people that were just hanging out on my homegirl's pad after like we had a little kickback or whatever. And they were like, oh yeah, let's throw in this Cabin in the Woods thing. And I was like, oh, is it like an Evil Dead thing or something? And they're like, no, I don't think so. I don't know what it is. And then our minds were completely blown from there because once we saw them head off in the Rambler and then you see the guy on the roof and everything after the opening sequence with Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford's character, I'm like, wait a minute. They're controlling the scenario?
Yeah.
This is something new because the only really meta movies I seen at that point in like the horror kind of sense was Scream.
Scream, yeah.
That was like, that's my favorite horror film. Those that have been watching the channel know that, but if you didn't know, now you know.
All the stab
Obviously.
sequences.
Exactly, yeah. So I was already all in on the meta stuff, but they hadn't really done that before as often. So that one kind of blew my mind in that way at the time. And I instantly fell in love with the movie. Didn't collect physical media like I do now back at that time. So I didn't buy the movie or anything like that. But I absolutely loved the movie. That was my first time I saw Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff, man. And Sigourney Weaver, I knew her from Alien. So
Yeah.
I had watched the first two.
I still haven't seen the aliens, but I knew her from Ghostbusters.
Okay, nice. Ghostbusters was my first one, of course.
I understand Zool.
Did you do a reaction to that one?
To Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm actually old enough to where I've actually seen every single Ghostbusters in the theater.
Oh, nice.
So that was like my range of horror.
Okay. Gotcha. More on the PG family friendly side of it.
Exactly.
Poltergeist or
Oh
something like that. No.
Poltergeist.
Still too much.
No, Poltergeist is the if you watch our interview with Sledgehammer Horror, you'll see that we talk about our first scary movies, and Poltergeist was mine as a kid, and to this day I still can't do white noise or snow on the TV.
Oh,
that's the movie that traumatized me.
Okay, so The Ring is like, no thank you.
I have not been there yet, but when I saw the snow on the TV, I'm just like, ooh, I don't know.
I think that would probably be your most intense reaction yet.
Probably will. I'm sure that
you get around to it eventually.
Oh yeah.
Might have to be a request.
It's been requested a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
So
get the word out, y'all. Get the word out. I want to see that. I got to see it happen.
They want to see me traumatized.
Yes.
Thanks.
That's the way we do it. That's the way we do it around here. I'm desensitized to everything, so you just can't traumatize me anymore. Hereditary was the closest I got.
Ooh, that was the first one we watched.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and we haven't put that out yet because we're saving it for our Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Because yes.
behind the paywall, y'all. You know the deal with that, for sure, with all the links and everything. But yeah, man. But getting into the Cabin in the Woods itself, what would you say are some of your like favorite like moments or some of your favorite characters? Vice versa.
Well, I mean, who doesn't love Chris Hemsworth?
Yep, love that guy.
I mean,
the jock. That's
Thor.
actually
Come
smart.
on.
Come on now. I'll have another.
Yeah, it was actually one of those movies where immediately fell in love with the cast. I
Yeah.
fell in love with the characters. They were all endearing. But I've got to say, I really liked the other guy, the one that's from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh man, what's his name?
Because I liked his personality. I was
I'm
like,
gonna have the name in the edit. You'll
because
see
he was intelligent. He was the
yes.
scholar.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he wasn't a creep.
Mm-hmm.
So when the one girl was getting changed, he was just like, I gotta let her know.
He's second guessing it. Like, all right, I'm gonna go tell her. I won't do it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's respectful.
Yep.
So it's like I said, you kind of like these people. They were
Exactly.
very
And
endearing.
even though Jules, she's kind of like the kind of out there girl, if you will.
Oh,
or
like
whatever.
the bimbo.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought, but she was only like that because of the pheromones and everything else.
That's what I love
because
about
she was
it.
actually, I think, a pre-med student.
Exactly.
And
they did the same thing with Chris Hemsworth's character. So I love the way that they were dumbing them down to the kind of horror cliches or tropes that people are annoyed of or that drive people crazy with Friday the 13th and things like that.
Especially like when he's like, we should separate. We're like, no, you never separate.
Yeah, Marty's like, what? He's like, am I the only person that's hearing this that way? Like, geez, no one's listening right now. But that's another thing I love about it too is the cast automatically you love everyone from the beginning. You got the innocent girl that isn't so innocent in the traditional sense in that way. You know what I mean? She's had her experiences, but she's not as out there as other as other girls would be in college or have been. Whatever, what have you. And I love the way that everyone has a real camaraderie and they feel like actual friends. 'Cause you watch some movies, like especially slasher movies, where you're like, these people don't feel like they'd hang out at all.
That's kind of how I feel like with the Friday the 13th movies. I'm like,
There's definitely a good.
I'm definitely
few
not attached to any of these characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's okay if they die. It's all right. It's all
get
right.
them. It's all right.
Right. Get them. I'm like,
Exactly. I think part 4 was the closest I was with that, with like Tommy Jarvis, and his sister and his mom.
because
That
I
was
like
probably the
Tommy
one.
Jarvis. Those are the mom when the mom died. I was like,
Yeah. And the remake, I thought they did a decent job with that. Him wanting to get his sister back, looking for her, no one's trying to help him out.
Yeah.
And the Jason mom element of that was a little weird. But overall, what they were at least trying to go for, I appreciated them trying to add a little bit of depth to Friday the 13th in their own way.
Exactly.
Whether it worked for some people, your mileage will vary. But that's the thing I love with this movie is that they don't necessarily get too sappy either with the characters
Exactly.
either. It's fun, they're engaging, they're charismatic, but we're not trying to, put we're not trying to put Dana and Marty together at the end because, they have to hook up by the end.
oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
no, I like the fact that they still had kind of that just close friend.
Yeah, platonic relationship.
Yeah, but we just went through a lot of shit together, but so
Yeah, like let's stick together, let's get through this thing. And that's the thing I love about it too. And but yeah, Marty I would say is probably my favorite character. That guy just cracks me up, man. Like I feel like I knew so many dudes like that in high school. I even had a whole coworker that was kind of reminding me of that, He's like, a bong in the car? I would never put that in your father's vehicle.
Exactly.
Are you stoned? Turns it into a coffee mug.
But I was going to say, well, him being a stoner actually worked to his
Advantage this time.
It sure did. Do drugs.
Yes, exactly. Moral of the story. Do drugs,
drugs.
kids. We want you to do drugs. Exactly. But
That
that's
was
the
your
thing.
brain on drugs.
Exactly.
You know.
But he's the only one that noticed anything the whole time. He's like, what's with this wire and shit when he knocks the lamp over? He's all, am I on reality TV? My parents are going to think I'm a burnout. But he's the only one. He's all puppet masters and all that stuff. And nobody was listening. They're like, dude, enough of the conspiracy theories. But it was right there in front of them the whole time.
Completely.
Yep.
Completely. Yeah, and there were a lot of really good jump scares in that movie too.
Oh, for sure.
Like
really good.
There's that part where the zombies just come and they kill Jules, and you see the armless girl in the background coming up.
Yep.
And so you're expecting her to come up, and then all of a sudden, Hemsworth's character
Comes through. Run, dude, run. Freaking clotheslines homegirl like it's WrestleMania 30. I was like, yo, Good stuff, man.
And,
But yes, so many good jump scares in there. Even when they're like locked in the little like display like elevator things, and then the werewolf comes up, and
that
then you
was
get all
one
that
of
stuff.
the prettiest scenes.
Yes.
I was just like blown away at with the elevator scene when you see them moving around up and down, back and forth, and you have all the other
Creatures and
kind of like
monsters.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, that probably was where they got a little bit of that design language. Because it does feel like all the
Yeah.
doors going by and everything.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. Little Pixar flavor.
Hey.
But yeah, but the way they were doing the CGI and the practical effects with the sets was so seamless too. Like
Oh,
you
it was
couldn't really
beautiful.
tell like how they were blending all the backgrounds together and everything. So that was really, really dope. And the werewolf design was really cool. Probably one of the best ones I've seen since that movie Dog Soldiers. I don't
I
know
was
if
gonna
you've
say
heard
Dog
of that.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a reaction to that one too.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, Dog Soldiers. Those ones were some. I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I was like very, very
mentioned it.
reminiscent of that. Really, really good. And they only use CG on that a little bit, and I appreciate that because I'm not a big CG fan in horror. I feel like it kind of takes me out of it,
Oh,
unless
yeah.
you're doing like outer space stuff, like Event Horizon or something.
Yeah, which is another good one.
I was gonna say, didn't you guys do a reaction to that?
We did. We just put that out more recently.
Yeah, I thought I saw that on the channel. I haven't watched it yet, but I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch along with y'all on that one. That's a really, really good one. We gotta do that on this channel, man.
And I gotta admit, I love the Easter eggs. And now that I'm actually watching
versed.
more horror movies, when I revisited it to come talk about it, it was fun to see even more
References
Easter eggs.
and more
Like
things.
the whole, like you were saying, when she does the incantation, I was like, oh, this is Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And when everything, or even if you look at the list of stuff when it said the angry molesting trees,
yeah. I was like, oh man, they just went there.
I just want to know what the Kevin was.
I know.
I wonder if it's a male version of Karen, and he's definitely going to ask for the manager. That's pretty horrifying.
That probably is it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to speak to your manager. No! It's a Karen, no. Dude from Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out of here. Y'all have to deal with that. You'll be
No,
good.
no Kevins.
Yep,
no
no
Kevin's.
Kevins, please.
The unicorn was pretty great.
Yes, the unicorn
Unicorn.
just coming and
Stab
getting the
you.
guy. And then that weird robot thing reminded me of what's his name, Sector from Mortal Kombat. The yellow
Yeah.
robot. I was like, oh man, that's some crazy
yeah.
stuff with the blades and everything.
Yeah. Well, I even saw like some Junji Ito type of
Oh, yeah.
type of stuff too. I mean, the little girl with all the teeth in her face, the ballerina.
Yes, that's what it was, Junji Ito. I've seen the artwork because my buddy, my main man Drew, y'all know him on the channel if you've seen him before. He's like an anime guru. He knows everything about it, and I'm kind of new to it in the way that you are with the horror, really. And he was telling me about the Junji Ito. He's like, you got to get into that stuff, man.
I just recently started watching some of it, and it's,
Oh, nice.
It's creepy.
Yeah, he was saying that. He's not a big horror guy either. He's like, that's one of the few things I'll get through it to kind of experience it. But he's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there was another reference too. I'm kind of I was missing out. And then the whole Rambler thing is almost a reference, I think, to From Dusk Till Dawn as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like all right, Ramblers, let's get
See
rambling.
that. I can definitely see that. I will admit though too, I felt like him getting on the dirt bike kind of reminded me of like Pumpkinhead.
Yes.
Remember the beginning of Pumpkinhead and where they killed a little boy.
Yep.
But yeah.
Man, that was an intense one.
Oh yeah.
That was an intense
That
one.
one was hard to watch too. Yeah. But yeah, it was so fun. Like the twins and the twins from The Shining.
Yep.
You saw that. You saw the reference to Hellraiser.
Yeah, with the
like,
whole freaking
the-
pinhead guy.
yeah.
And the what do they call that thing?
The Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
The Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, the kaleidoscope. What the hell is it? Yeah, the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube of death. For those who don't know, I'll throw that in there somewhere. But yeah, there's so many great references, almost like too many to count, man. Like,
Yeah.
And then you had like kind of like some of that torture stuff kind of sprinkled in there, where they were kind of flashing from screen to screen, and that was really, really funny. And the whole thing with Japan too, I loved how that was such a heavy thing because the 2000s
yeah.
was so Japan focused.
Wasn't
with
that more like
Asian
The
focus.
Grudge?
Exactly.
We haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
we haven't seen
interesting.
Ju-on or The Grudge yet,
Okay.
and so
But yeah, Ringu, The Ring.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Audition.
no.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. I heard that one's really intense with the torture kind of stuff. Really much more on the thriller side. High Tension, like all those kind of movies that were kind of like from like even a lot of European influence as well. I noticed with like the other countries they were kind of referencing. And it's kind of cool how this movie's almost like a time capsule of 2000s horror all the way back to like kind of the 80s and 70s kind of blended together, but
Oh,
it
it's
really captures
beautiful.
its own era well and doesn't just rely on the past.
Yeah.
Which I think is really a strength that some of these nostalgia driven movies miss sometimes.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful love story, I think, to the whole horror genre. Like, and I love the part too where they come in and the zombies are still like eating the leftovers and the
Yep.
the leftovers.
They're like, oh, jeez. They're like, ugh, I'm getting the hell out of here. And that whole bat creature thing was so sick. That was so cool. I was like, I feel like I'd never seen anything like that before.
That was gorgeous. It was a vampire bat.
Yeah.
But the way he opened his mouth, it reminded me of the Del Toro.
Yeah, the from Blade 2.
Yep, that one.
Yep. I forget the.
Or was it Del Toro? No, because didn't they have one like that on Hellboy too at one point?
I think so. Yeah.
So.
I
mean, I
so.
could be wrong.
I haven't watched Hellboy in a long time.
I've been known to be wrong before. Don't tell anybody.
It's safe between us. No one will know.
No one will ever hear.
No one will ever know. And then, two characters I definitely want to highlight. Just so many great scenes with Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford's character, man. So much good stuff.
Oh, they were hilarious.
Are you even listening to me?
Yeah, I was gonna say their whole dynamic. They just fed off of each other so well. I love the part where they had the Harbinger on speakerphone.
Yeah. You're all gonna be doomed, and everything's gonna go.
Wait, am I on speakerphone?
Sorry. Hold on. And he just goes back into it, and they just can't control themselves. He's like, God damn it. And then the whole thing with oh man, I'm kind of rooting for this girl right now. There's something special about Tequila's my lady.
Oh, and I felt so bad because they're sitting there having this whole party while she's on live getting thrown around by this zombie with the bear
choked.
trap.
Yeah, they're all listening to 70s rock over here. Everyone's jamming out. And he's all like, man, I thought you guys were going to fuck this up, man.
I've got to say, too, that was pretty ingenious. Who wants a bear trap to the back?
Oh, man, that's intense. I was kind of like, he shouldn't be running around like that, though. He was like, he just ran out of there after a while. I was like, he should be kind of limping around a little bit, but that's not a huge deal. But it was just kind of funny to me. But the bear trap, that was so intense and just like way out of nowhere.
When it hit Jules at first, I was just like, ooh, what?
Yep.
But that's a bear trap. No.
I was like, uh-oh. That's when you know, in a horror movie, if you get stuck in a bear trap, that's generally
it's pretty much you're done.
Yeah.
You're
because
pretty
homie
much
didn't get
done
it then,
at
but he
that
got it
point.
later.
Yeah.
Straight through, man. Woo. Straight through the other side. Door style. But man, that was another good one. And that's the thing I love about this movie too. They don't hold back on the kills whatsoever.
Oh no, not at all.
Bloodshed all over the place. Whether it's CG, whether it's practical, there's plenty of gore in this movie. So if you're a gore hound, they've definitely got that.
They've
and
got
I love
the blood.
that
The blood is in there. The blood is in there.
Hell yeah.
But it's a fun one. I felt like it was fun and it was lighthearted enough where I was able to sleep. I was able to go to the bathroom by myself. I didn't have to have one of the girls in there holding my hand as I peed. You know.
Mm-hmm.
We
exactly. It's just right on the edge of getting kind of scared, and then it kind of pulls it back, and you're kind of having fun. And I think that's like that true Scream model where it's still taking the characters seriously, taking the intense moments seriously. Like the deaths mean something to the characters, but it's fun, and they're poking fun at the genre and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're dancing around like Richard Jenkins, you know, you're having a good time, man. Those guys are getting down for sure, getting down.
Well, tequila. We'll do that for you.
Yes, tequila, my lady. That should be a shirt. Tequila's my lady. But,
Let's get that made.
Yes, exactly. Available now on TeePublic. But man, there's so many great moments, man, and just the whole like third act is just completely bonkers, man.
It's
like just the
unhinged.
whole thing going down. Everyone's getting attacked left and right. And then when you get to the whole Sigourney Weaver portion of the movie, I love how they kind of take a moment to slow things down and have that moral dilemma with Dana and Marty and like, you know what? If you just kill him, we're all good.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to really risk everyone's life over one person? And I'm like, you know what? If you were presented with that, what do you do?
I had thought about that too, and it's like I don't know because it's on one hand.
It's morally wrong, I guess.
It's like I can tell you right now, I would probably, I would totally have shot him and made sure that everybody else lived. But then if you're actually facing that situation and you actually you care about that person, you have love for that person's been around you all your life. I'd have a hard time pulling. I would have a hard time pulling the trigger.
I would like to believe I feel the same exact way because it's like I don't
Yeah.
want to do that to someone I care about. I was like, I don't know everybody in the world. Not that the world doesn't matter, but I mean, if this is what we need to do, we need to constantly keep killing people in order to stave
And
this
there's a lot
off.
of there's a lot of crappy humans out there.
It's
I
true.
mean,
It's true.
why I'd have a hard time killing the good one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? Do your thing, gods. Do your thing, ancient ones. And I love that whole like ancient thing to it, and how they kind of teased that in the beginning of the film, but didn't give anything really away until you got all the way into the second and the third act, and then you still didn't understand the whole thing until Sigourney Weaver broke it down.
Well, because I was looking at it, I was like, this looks like a whole like Dante's Inferno type stuff. Like in the beginning when it 1st you start seeing the visuals.
Exactly, and I
It
was
looked
like,
like
okay,
just like the
demonic possession or
the
something?
different levels of like hell and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then as they kept going, you're like, oh wait, there's more human sacrifice and stuff like that. It's
Exactly. Goes in like kind of like a cult, kind of almost like Wicker Man kind of situation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get so weird Ari Aster with it, where I feel like, because I'm not a big Midsummer guy, and I feel like that one went a little too far out of the box for me personally. You know, watching Florence Pugh yell for 10 minutes.
That
like,
was
I mean,
that was
I'm cool. You know?
that was a movie.
Yeah, exactly. That was a thing with moving pictures, you know. But hey, to each his own, you know what I mean. But that
Beautifully
one
shot,
too
but
weird.
woo.
And even the end of Hereditary, I'm like, what's with the
Well, it's
the
done by the
naked-
same people.
Yeah, naked headless people, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I get it.
Ants
okay.
on a head.
We'll just stay on this shot for 5 minutes. I'm good with that. But you know, so I like how this one's weird, but it's not so weird that it's like alienating to people. I feel like even if you don't like horror, like the people I first watched it with, you can have a blast with it and have a good time and be on the edge of your seat with everything. But I want to also highlight Sigourney Weaver as well. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit for her small role in the film. I feel like she's like really, really good in this movie and is really giving a great performance.
I thought it was actually really great too,
Yeah.
and it was a nice cameo too. I mean, it was just like, yeah, 'cause she
Felt
was-
natural. Felt like that she's just a character in the film. You're not noticing it's Sigourney Weaver.
And she
unless
has
you know.
that character that you would believe to be in that type of position. I mean, you look at Sigourney Weaver, and Sigourney Weaver's a badass.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
so
a boss
to
right
see,
there.
hell yeah,
For
boss
real.
bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Zool.
Yeah,
Are you the gatekeeper?
I'm the keymaster.
Yeah. Are you the gatekeeper? Yes, exactly. Just give me the shades and just mess up my hair and we're good. But yeah, man. But absolutely love Sigourney Weaver in this film. And I don't know the actress that plays Dana off the top of my head, but I feel like I haven't seen her in anything since. But she was so good in this movie.
I feel like I've seen her in something, but I think they've been more like rom-com-y type.
I just went in a
I
different
could
direction.
be wrong. Again, I could be wrong again.
I will fact check this later.
But I do
Don't you
believe
say nothing.
I do believe I've seen her maybe like in type of a rom-com-y type.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
Like a Netflix movie or something.
Probably,
Oh, okay.
probably, or even
Nothing wrong
like
with that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then, like we said, Homeboy went on to Grey's Anatomy and everything like that. So, I mean, he was doing
And-
well for himself.
And we got Thor.
Thor, hello, still around. Come on, man. Thor 5. Where's it at, Chris? Time's ticking, buddy.
Waiting for it.
He's hanging out with Schwarzenegger right now. I can't blame him.
Right.
But yeah, man, so much good stuff to be had with the film. And like I said, I know he's a controversial figure. I know. But Joss Whedon, I think, just did a great job writing the film, man. I got to say,
Yeah.
I think this was him kind of at his peak back at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Most definitely.
And,
It was a beautifully done movie, and like I said, it was fun to go back and see even more Easter eggs or be a more understanding of the Easter eggs now that I've seen. Because I think we watched it about a year ago, I think.
Okay.
So now that we've gotten this many more, we watch about 4 films in one sitting.
Oh.
So
okay.
now
Gotcha.
that we have more films under our belt, when I went back and revisited it, it was a lot of fun to be like, oh, that's that. Oh, that's
I
that.
get that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. I think it was more fun watching it a second time around, and I almost think I want to revisit it again, maybe in another year,
Okay.
and see what else I can pick up in it.
Exactly. That's a really, really cool
Yeah.
thing about this movie. Like, it's endlessly rewatchable. Like, it never gets boring.
Oh,
It
no.
never gets old. And there's always something to revisit. Like the Junji Ito stuff you mentioned. I hadn't even picked up on that reference until I just thought about something I heard about several months ago. So I was like, even 10 years later, or 11 years, I should say, we're still picking up on something, and that to
yeah.
me is the mark of a really great piece of art. You know, you're always picking up something new and seeing a new perspective of it, and that's hard to
Yeah.
do. So,
Oh,
got to
definitely.
give it up.
Most definitely. I find it to be more of a timeless flick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna stand the test of time. I feel like 40 years from now, when I'm like 80 years old or 60 years old, whatever, I'm gonna be like, yo, you gotta watch Cabin in the Woods.
Young whippersnappers,
That
go
was
go check it
Thor.
out.
That was Thor back before Thor 12, right there. Chris Hemsworth.
Before the Avengers
Yeah.
59.
Exactly. That's Richard Jenkins from Step Brothers. Step what? Shut up, Grandpa.
What's that?
I'm watching a movie. But yeah, man, it's just a timeless flick. And the director, Drew Goddard, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I feel like he never gets enough recognition in kind of like the fandom space. I feel like with this and Bad Times at the El Royale, have you seen that?
I have not.
That's a really, really good one. It's a
I'll
little
check
more of
it
a
out.
thriller more than like horror. But
Okay.
it has like kind of like a Tarantino vibe to
Oh, I
it.
do like Tarantino.
Yeah, so it's really, really cool movie, and Chris Hemsworth's also in that as well.
Oh, okay.
Some really, really awesome acting, and I just think Drew Goddard has a really awesome eye and really awesome vision, and I think he did a lot of work on the Daredevil series on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He did that.
Mhm.
Okay,
He was
because
one
that
of the
was
main
good.
writers and producers on that show.
Yeah, that was pretty well put together too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite pieces of Marvel content ever, and I'm a Marvel fanatic, loved everything, so for the most part. So, that's my jam. And Drew Goddard, man, I just feel like he's such a great filmmaker, and I just can't wait to see what he does next. Hopefully it's something horror related, because I feel like that's where he shines the
Like,
most.
come on.
Come on, man. Give it up. Come on,
Bring
man.
us more.
Give me some more. I want the Marty spinoff right now. Cabin in the Woods 2.
Ooh.
Just set it in a whole new place with the same actor or the same
Yeah.
character.
The
who's
gods
in it.
didn't kill him off after all,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Maybe they let him live.
Maybe we did have a final girl and a final boy.
Exactly.
Hey, it
Ash
could
Williams style.
happen.
Exactly. But I mean, was there any other favorite moments or anything else from the movie that you wanted to highlight or anything that stuck out to you on this second go around?
Like I said, I think my favorite things was basically once they got into the facility.
Yep.
Once they really got in, and I'll admit too, for whatever reason, I don't even know why, but the beginning part when the bird hits the grid, I was really upset about that.
Oh yeah. Animal cruelty. No birds were harmed in the making of this film.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was CGI. Hey man, Hemsworth hit it too, man.
Oh
Hemsworth hit it.
yeah, that was tough too when the bike, because you weren't expecting it. I was like,
Nope.
he's got it. Whoa,
You
he
forgot
doesn't
about it,
have
you know
it.
what I mean? Like, they showed you earlier, but then by the time you get to that, so much has happened. You're like,
Yeah.
oh snap, there's a wall there.
So yeah, when he hit it, you're just like, that's when you get brought back to the bird. You're like, oh shit! It's like,
It
yeah,
all comes back around full circle.
Yeah,
And I love that foreshadowing. That's not super on the nose right there. So
Yeah.
this film is just so well put together.
I
I
just-
absolutely love this movie.
there was a lot of like favorite parts.
Yeah, it's like every part's just great. You could just almost go.
You
with
know,
the
I just
scene
like,
to scene.
I liked the part from the beginning until the credits came. Actually, that was actually pretty cool too. I was just like the whole thing. I mean, because I loved it like at the very end when the hand comes up and you have the god's hand.
Yep, and then you just get Cabin in the Woods looking like a Slayer music video or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was just from the start to the finish. It was just hands down a great movie. It's definitely one of the favorites that we've watched
For
on our
sure.
channel.
That's awesome, man. And that's
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite horror films. I mean, I don't know where I'd rank it in all of them, but if I had to do like a top 50 movies or something, it's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this film. And we want to hear from y'all in the comments below as well. What are your favorite moments from the movie? Do you love Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford in this as much as I do? Is Marty your spirit animal? Let us know everything you got to know in the comments. And if you're old enough to have seen this when it first dropped, did you know Hemsworth already, or was that your first time seeing him? I think I had seen him in the Red Dawn remake around the same time. So I don't know what came first, but hey, you'll actually me in the comments. Let us know. And is there any like negatives or anything bad you would point out in the movie? I don't necessarily have anything. I feel like it's a pretty flawless movie in my
I
opinion.
think it's
Yeah.
really hard for me to think of any moments that I really, really disliked.
Yeah, everything just works.
Yeah.
Every time they want to make you laugh, you're laughing. Every time they want to scare you, they're scaring you. Everything just works, man.
Yeah.
On a technical level, entertainment, start to finish. Absolutely love it. It's not very often you get to see a film that damn good, but this is definitely one of them for sure.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, make sure you're checking out Steph, everything she's got going on.
you.
If you got any pages you want to let the people know about, any events or anything coming up, let the people
Okay.
know. Plug it.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Stephos, Stephohs, and then you can look for Final Girls on YouTube with a Z, or you can also follow our group's page at Final Girls underscore horror.
Gotcha. And then you got the Patreon as well, so if
We're
people want to
actually
support.
working on the Patreon,
Oh,
so we haven't launched it yet.
okay, got you. So that's in the
Yeah,
works. So
so
if you're aware of their page
coming
already and you
up.
jumped over there, over here, it's coming soon, y'all. So be on the lookout for that, for
Yes.
sure. And once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
It's
for
really been a pleasure
having
just being able to
me.
discuss one of my favorite movies with someone that, it's just a good time to be around, just good vibes. So thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming on, for real.
Thank you so much for having me. This
Of
has been a lot
course.
of fun.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to do more things in the future,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll see Fandom Frequency and the Final Girls coming together once again. I have to try to get some of the other guys here, maybe we'll get a group thing going,
That
maybe
would
do
be
a
fun.
reaction or something. That'd be kind of fun.
Ooh, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like I
Be a lot
said,
of fun.
we're going to figure it out behind the scenes, you know what I mean? But thank y'all so much for checking this out. I always love putting these videos together, and everyone here on the team at Phantom Frequency just really loves doing this. We have a great time, and we appreciate you taking your time out of your day and your busy lives to check us out. We're just, a little FYI, this is on Father's Day. So when you're seeing this in the future, hopefully you had a great Father's Day weekend with your family and everything like that. And, much love to all the fathers out there. Thank you so much for checking this out. Click the subscribe, click the like and share. We're really trying to grow the channel. Make sure you support the Final Girls as well. Don't miss out on anything they got going on over there. Plenty to come over here. We got a lot more horror content coming. We're going to try to hit y'all with at least a few horror reviews every single month. And spooky season's not too far away. That's all horror
Ooh.
all month long here on the channel. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't sleep. Much love and peace out.